Hello world, welcome back to my channel. My name is Keenan Diabrio and today I'm going to talk to you about 10 Instagram tips for artists. Things about how to share your art on social media, how to get a better traction. Well, we'll just go into it. But if you'd like to help support me and my artistic journey, you're more than welcome to follow my Instagram right there. But yeah, let's get into the video. So just being honest with you, just be like, disclaimer, Instagram's algorithm is not the easiest to figure out and it's changing every 30 seconds in my head, and yeah, it's a very love-hate relationship that I have with Instagram. I love it because it's such a beautiful platform that allows people to share, express themselves in so many different ways, and also for artists it works as really good portfolio. Although, that being said, it's kind of a pain in the when I can't get my things seen because they choose to change up their algorithm and 10% of my followers actually see my posts. It's kind of annoying, but here are a few tips that have helped me through my journey and hopefully they can help you too. So let's go. Tip number one. Tip number one is to always post at regular intervals. This does not necessarily mean posting every day. In terms of the algorithm, what I find works best is when, for example, I choose to post every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and I stick to a cycle like that. That's what sort of works the best for me. So even if you want to post once a week, stick to regular intervals. If you're posting once a week, every Monday at 6 p.m, stick to that. Because two things will happen. One, your followers are gonna expect the content from you at that particular time. You can raise hype about your new post. And two, Instagram's algorithm, this is a total guess, Instagram's algorithm will be like, oh look, he's posting consistently, let's just share it to more than 10% of his followers. Alright, tip number two, when you're shooting your art, use natural daylight. Use natural daylight, it just makes the picture look absolutely stunning as compared to a little sketch that you're doing at 4 or 5 a.m. with a little like night lamp on the side. Natural daylight is just absolutely amazing. It brings out the art completely. Choose to edit your photos if you like. A lot of people are against that, but sometimes when I feel like the photo doesn't do justice to the art because of the lighting, I sometimes do perk up my pieces just a little bit. Just not drastically or dramatically changing the pieces, but just a little bit. But always try to shoot your artwork in natural daylight. It's sort of the best way to go forward. But yeah. Also, when you're shooting your art in natural daylight, you kind of don't want harsh sunlight because this sometimes means that the image can be overexposed, which is super irritating on the eyes to look at. So you're looking for soft lighting, but it's still natural light. Tip number three is that your posts should work as individual posts, but also work as a feed. Instagram is all about aesthetic, in my opinion, especially if you're an artist. You want someone to be able to look at your feed in one go and be like, okay, this is what the artist is about, this is what their style is like, this is what their feed looks like, and that just having that translate in your feed is much easier said than done, but makes a lot of difference. Because when you see an Instagram posting one picture of a pencil sketch, but one picture of like this massive painting, and then you go back to a pencil sketch, a lot of the times it's sort of inconsistent in terms of artistic style, also in your quality of work. Tip number four. Tip number four is to use hashtags appropriately. Instagram does give you a 30 hashtag limit, although you can be smart and you don't have to use all of them. Because we all know how annoying it is when the caption is like one line and then there's 30 hashtags under it and you're like, it doesn't look pretty. Does not at all. So here's what I normally do. I normally use generic hashtags, a nice big mix of generic hashtags. So I'll use 10-ish hashtags, 10 to 15 hashtags. It'll be art, Insta art, artists on Instagram, art of the day, generic ones, but also more specific to the art piece. This is because, so if I paint a painting of a dog, it'll be hashtag dog painting, hashtag oil painting, hashtag the type of dog, hashtag the you know what I mean. But the whole point is that this does allow your artwork to be seen by hashtag art and the generic hashtags, but also if someone really likes dogs and they see your Instagram, they're like, oh, okay, it's a niche. This person's painted a dog, looks pretty cool, let me go check them out. So use hashtags, call a new following, but also to have your work featured on different places. But use them sparingly, use them appropriately. Tip number 5. Tip number 5. Tip number 5 is to try as much as possible to target your Instagram to a niche market. This is not going to make sense, but I'm going to try my best to explain it to you. So if I look down at my laptop and I read it, it says a niche market is the subset of a market of which a specific product is focused. The market niche defines the product features aimed at satisfying the specific market needs. Not going into technicalities, but the basic thing is that if I am someone who loves to paint dogs, someone who loves dogs is going to follow me just because they love dogs. So have that sort of audience created so you know your audience. The more you mix it up, the harder it is going to be to create a niche market, and that's okay. As long as you're mentally understanding your audience and you're mentally aware of who's following you, what they like, what they don't like. Again, I'm not saying that you have to create art based on what the people like to see, but it does help if that's possible. And if you're not demeaning yourself as an artist, it's the best way forward. Tip number 6 is to only post things with your art or art related things. This might seem obvious to a few seasoned artists on Instagram, but it didn't seem obvious to me. So a couple of years ago, I would post things about dining. I would post things about when I went to a fancy restaurant. I would post art. I would post a picture of my dog. I would post art. I would post a cool movie poster because I was gonna see a cool movie. I would post art. First of all, the consistency of the feed was lacking because it needs to have art in it and not just mix it up. But also the viewer would get really confused. So the viewers of my page would get super confused because it's like, what am I posting about? Where's the theme of the page? Where's the style of the page? What is the aesthetic? So stick to only posting pictures of your art or art related things. There are exceptions, but that's the main rule of thumb. Another weird tip that I have is, like, again, it's, you think it would be common knowledge, but I just want to say it anyways. So only post pictures of your art and explicitly, if you're an artist, so if I'm anyone and I go take a picture with a graffiti wall, it's just a graffiti wall. But if I'm an artist and I'm posting pictures of paintings and of art pieces that I'm doing, and I post a picture of a painting that I really like, people are going to automatically assume that that's my artwork. So explicitly state when artwork is not yours, just because you don't want people to get the wrong idea, because once people understand that, oh, you know, this guy's just posting things, oh, this guy's plagiarizing, or this or that, they're not going to like it. And we both don't want that. We want you to get a good Instagram following. We want you to work harder. We want you to be able to make your Instagram work for you and your cause, no matter what it is. Tip number 8. So remember when I said that there were exceptions to the rules when you had to only post about your art? Well, this is a little exception. In my personal opinion, I do believe that posting, well, not necessarily selfies, but face pictures with your art gives some sort of character to your art piece. When people see a painting, I feel like mentally they want to have a connect with who the artist is. So this makes all the difference when you see this versus when you see this. On this side, I'm more connected to the artist. They're like, oh, okay, cool, that's what they look like. It just gives me all these ideas of like, what were they thinking versus this is just a pretty painting. Doesn't make sense. And these can be pictures of you as an artist in action. These can be pictures of you while you're painting. These can be pictures taken by someone else. Anything. Tip number 9 for me is to always engage with your audience. I used to work at a social media agency in Dubai for about a year, and we had this one mantra, which was social media is about talking to your audience, not at them. You're not constantly just flooding them with information. It's a two-way exchange of information. So when you share something and someone comments, go for it, like it, respond. And I understand that the more you grow, the more comments that you get, you're not going to have the time. But the more effort that you have, the more that people are going to feel connected to you, and the more that they're going to keep coming back to your page. So you're going to want to comment on more things. You're going to want to leave ideas for you. They're going to want to leave tips for you. They're going to want to tell you what they want to see instead. And you might not always take that. You might not always want it. But it's great as an audience member, it's great to feel heard. Imagine if your favorite singer responded to a comment that you posted on their Instagram photo. Wouldn't that make you feel special? Don't you want to make other people feel that special? There we are. And finally, tip number 10 is don't post everything on Instagram. Not all your art might be Instagrammable. Not all of your art might be the best. And in my experience, it's just absolutely ridiculous when I have these stunning pieces and then I just choose to throw in random sketches. The way that I used to do it was a few years ago, I would always post progress shots, but it would always start with a blank canvas and then it would go into like somewhere midway and then the final piece. Sometimes the piece would be spread over 6 posts. No one wants to see that. In terms of my audience didn't want to see that. All my audience was concerned with was the final piece. So I moved from posting, I was painting every day, so I moved from posting every day to posting twice a week. So I would just post finished pieces and it made all the difference, not only aesthetically on my Instagram, but also in terms of the following, in terms of people engaging with the page. Because when you see a bunch of blank canvases filling up empty spots, it doesn't make sense. There's no point because it doesn't give you the aesthetic. So this works. You have to use these tips all together. It's a bunch of different tips. So I know I did 10 tips, but here's a special tip just for you because I like you. So I love the iPhone. I love the cameras on the iPhone. But in terms of editing my photos and editing my artwork, especially for Instagram, there's nothing more that I love than taking pictures on a professional camera. Now, if you can't afford a professional camera, not a big deal. There are places that you can borrow a camera. It's a great investment. Even a digital camera though gives you more flexibility to take pictures and then throw them into the computer and edit them. If you're just using a phone editor like Snapseed, Lightroom, Darkroom, well and good, use your iPhone. But if you want to invest into good content, that's where you need a professional camera. That's all I can recommend. So there are apps like I don't know if I'm saying that right, and Layout, which do help you figure out the layout of your Instagram before you post, if you want to be more aesthetic, if you want to look at what it would look like. You can also use the draft feature on Instagram. That works really well. So it's when you're just going to post a picture and you type up a caption if you want, keep it ready, but then you exit and you save as draft. When you go to manage your drafts, that gives you a pretty good understanding of what your Instagram layout is going to look like. Those things really help me as tools that aid Instagram. So use them appropriately. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it was super quick, super condensed, but I really wanted to post for you guys because you haven't seen my pretty face in a while. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn the notifications bell on. See ya.